Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another mission in the career of Albin Zogbomb. It is now the 14th of September, 1942. We are in a little bit of a dry spell. We've gone up a few times here and have missed the target in a number of different ways. One being stupidity, one being clouds, and another being stupidity. Here's our medals so far for the career, and here is our stats. I won't go into too much detail on them, but anyways, look here at the planning room. We are going up. Of course, since the last episode, we've had one pilot complete training and be assigned to our squadron, and we've had a number of pilots be transferred in as well. Of course, we went through all of that in the last episode. But anyways, without further ado, today we are going up for one flight. That is at 7:48 this morning. We're bombing a strong point. And then later on today, we've got a smaller flight going up to bomb an enemy airfield. We will not be a part of that flight. But anyways, that'll do it. So let's go ahead and get into the mission. All right, everybody, welcome in to briefing for today. Takeoff time for this mission is 7:48 this morning. You can already kind of see the flight path or the flight route for the mission. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. However, I do want to pull in here. The target for today is a strong point just outside of the city here of Kakalinskaya, and not too far across the line here. So that's good for us. I think a few missions ago when we were going up to hit a target and got shot down, we ended up making a left-hand turn and coming back, and that's really what saved us. But the main point was the target was near the front lines. We do have another one of those targets here today. When it comes to the strong points, I normally have a very hard time finding them through the bomb site, mainly because they're largely in the middle of nowhere. But we do have some good descriptors here. We'll hit this road first, of course. And then we've got an airfield here, which is very possible they'll send up some fighters when they see us coming in. But other than that, we have this railroad coming through here. And then we have one last road. And it looks like we have a road after the target. So we're kind of clustered between all of this here. But we'll definitely be looking for that. We'll definitely be able to see the city from the sky. Assuming we don't have clouds as we've had in the forecast. You can see down here in the weather, partly cloudy again today. So hopefully we have a little bit better luck when we come into bomb. But zooming in here, we do have a train station here as well that we might be able to see from the air, and we'll be able to kind of roughly gauge where we're to be looking. It looks like this train station's kind of have a little bit of an L shape here, and if we go from that little inside of the L, we should be able to hit the target. But otherwise, bomb altitude for today is 2,500 meters. Of course, the standard 320 kph. Look here, so it'll be Theobald Stewer as flight lead, will be wingman number 4 in the flight. Weather, as we've already talked about, would be partly cloudy from 900 meters. Some fog in the area as well will definitely complicate things as well. Look at the wind speed here. We'll be bombing from 2,500 meters. So the wind at that level will be blowing from 179 degrees for 11 meters per second. Anything else to go over? I don't think so. We'll take a look here at the bomber. Get the cannons equipped in here. And I think we're going to keep it just like this. Use the default loadout. I know I'm starting to get into a habit of just using this default loadout, but these 1650K bombs don't seem to have the big damage that I'm looking for, but these 250s and the 500, that's a good setup there for something like this, so we'll go ahead and keep that. Of course, got the belly guns equipped, so we'll go ahead and get this plane out on the runway and get in the air. Good, everybody, welcome into the bomber. Still getting into formation here as we start to hit the clouds. This is a gigantic cloud, I will say here. We're getting a little close to this bomber though, but it seems to me like it's figured out. Again, still slotting into formation here. However, just bringing you in, it is a cloudy day. This is definitely not what I had in mind when I read partly cloudy, but perhaps that is more referring to the target area as opposed to our current situation. So we have obviously successfully taken off. You can see our airfield there in the distance behind us, and we are making our way to waypoint 2. Okay, so we are approaching waypoint 2. You can see it has definitely cleared up as we have flown here. Albeit, if you look out the left, there are still some clouds hanging around, which does match the partly cloudy. There goes a green flare from flight lead, which means down below you can actually see the fighter escort sitting on the runway waiting for us to come over. We've grown accustomed to having them airborne already and flying over to us. However, today they are on the ground. There is the flare from the ground, and those fighters are going to be underway here in a second. And we have completed the left turn at waypoint 2, heading into some pretty big clouds. That's a pretty gigantic cloud there directly in front of us. Knowing me, it's probably going to be very detrimental to us with this bomber run. Okay, so now that the fighters are airborne, we'll go ahead and get the bomb sight set up. Of course, airspeed and altitude are the easy ones. And now all we gotta do is the wind speed. So we're dropping from 2,500 meters, a very slight change in the wind speed, so it's now 10 meters per second from 179 degrees. So we'll go ahead and drop the 10 in, and then pretty much due south. And this is definitely the complete opposite angles that we're used to. Normally it's hitting us on our left hand side. This time it's going to be hitting us on the right, it seems. Something like that, I want to say. So pretty easy day for us. I'm just going to use 180 degrees as my reference point. It's pretty much 180, right? Rounding up, of course. but pretty easy overall. And then I'll go ahead and set this bomb interval up here so we're dropping all of our bombs at the same time. But other than that, we are ready to drop. I'm going to scooch this over here for us and get this ready to go and get dialed in on where we're looking, make things a little bit easier here as we start to approach the target. But otherwise, we will continue towards the strong point. You can see some rivers up ahead. That is some of the indicators for me that we are crossing the front line. So just hoping this gigantic cloud is not exactly where I am starting to worry it is, but it looks like some rivers over here, so perhaps it's before our target, but we will no doubt find out soon enough. Okay, so just to update you, we have cleared that really big cloud. However, looking up ahead, that river's the front line, and I really don't like what I'm seeing in front of us. There is clouds all over what I believe to be the target area. So we'll see what it looks like when we get there, but at least from long range does not look very promising. Okay, bomb door's going open. Yeah. Not liking what I'm seeing here from the... Not liking what I'm seeing here from the bomb site here. We did drift a little bit, so we'll drop this down. And we've got to check our things, but here's a road. Okay. And there's that L shape, so I think I see it. Believe it or not, I see it. It's roughly about there. I think... Yeah, I got it. I got it in my sights. I got one bunker, bombs away. So unless our escort just took one for the team, actually, there's a third one far, so I actually think this is our escort. I'm actually gonna say this is our escort. So our escort came in and saved us today. There is one right there. And then I thought I saw a fourth one down up in here. Yeah, that's the escort. For sure. Alrighty, so just up ahead there is home base. Right at our 12 o'clock, in fact. So we are gonna go ahead and come in and get this bomber on the ground and get into the debrief. It's a little bit of another tricky weather situation for us today, but nevertheless it's a mission that we are going to come back from alive. And we have coming up almost on 25 missions completed here in this career mode. Of course, still have to put this thing on the ground. We are coming under 250 now. In fact, we're at 250. Gonna go ahead and put a little bit more throttle into this. Gear is still up. Go ahead and put that down now. Still a little bit faster than I want to be, but I am too far away. Here we come in now. Right, cutting the throttle. We're at 200 now. Oh, bit of a bounce. Pull back on the stick, and we are down. A little harder than I wanted to, but nevertheless, we are down. Dang. Well, it shouldn't be a surprise, but we didn't hit anything. Once again, clouds got in the way of us sighting the target in a timely enough manner. I did end up spotting through the clouds one single fortification and targeted that and dropped bombs on target. I don't know if that was the end of the target or the beginning of the target. Maybe it was out left or right, but it was the only thing I could see through the clouds, so I went ahead and targeted that. So it was either, you know, at the end of the target or at the edge of the target, and we missed because of that. Or I do believe I was lagging a little bit behind the rest of the flight by the time we dropped bombs, so it's very possible that I was accurate but late, so not getting credit for anything, but we'll have to see how the rest of the guys did. But yeah, difficult weather situation once again for us today. Okay, so looks like some of the squadron at least fared a little bit better than we did. Theobald Stewart, there's flight lead. He got 1 transport and 1 AAA. Gerd Henschel getting 2 transports and 1 cannon. And Carl Albrecht Stangl, one of the new guys, he got 3 transports and 1 cannon and 1 AAA. And Harold Dimwolski getting 1 machine gun. Brings the total for the squadron to 6 vehicle kills and 5 armaments, 11 in total. But we'll go ahead and simulate this bomb enemy airfield. It's taking place at 8 p.m. tonight. We'll see how these guys make out. Okay, so the guys are back, and it was a complete mess for the guys tonight. No kills to show for their mission. Unfortunate, but we'll go ahead and go to the next day. Okay, so here we are on the 15th of September. As has become tradition, we have 2 missions for the squadron on the 15th. First one here just past 7 a.m. will be a railway junction. Perhaps the commanders have seen enough of our performance on these missions and have left us off the roster. However, at just past 3:30 in the afternoon, we will be wingman number 1 to Theobald Stewart in a river crossing target. Let's go ahead and see where that target is for later today. The river crossing is right here. Okay, so probably a pretty long one. It looks like it's 229 kilometers away. Here's where the guys are going here in the morning. Yeah, just off the river there. So definitely targeting the river here north of Stalingrad for the 15th. But nevertheless, that will do it for today's episodes. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.